Okay, so good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our information session today. We're going to talk today about some of our bioeconomy microcertificates that we offer in the Faculty of Forestry. Just so that you're aware, this session is being recorded and it will be posted afterwards on our UBC website and also on YouTube for access. So if you're interested in forwarding it, sharing it to somebody else who you think may be interested, or you need to go back and take another listen, it will be available. So thank you again for joining us. And I'm going to get started here. But I'd first like to recognize that we have the pleasure and privilege of living and working on the UBC Vancouver campus, which is situated within the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Musqueam people. My name is Dr. Sheri Andrews-Key. I have the privilege of being the director of our microcertificate program across the Faculty of Forestry. I also lead one of our microcertificates and specialize in the area around climate change and adaptation. And something that we've identified within the faculty is this real need to bring applied tools and practices to practitioners. And that's something that I have a specialty in and am able to do this within our faculty. So talking about our microcertificate programs, they're completely online, 100%. And we have flexibility built into our programs so that we can better accommodate professional learners who have other responsibilities with work, with families, etc. We also want to be able to provide more accessibility to this type of education. And we have found through a lot of work that we've done that this online environment offers greater opportunity for those in remote areas or other locations where you want to get additional training, but you don't want to have to leave your home or your jobs and uproot your family to do that. So this is a program that we started building and offering in 2021. And we have expanded it to have quite a few programs. And today we're talking about the bioeconomy programs. These online microcertificates run twice a year. So we have a session that we offer from October to December, and then again from February to April. Within that, our programs are either comprised of 4 individual courses within each microcertificate or 3, and they run over an 8-week time period. For the courses that the programs that have 4 courses in the program, each course runs over a 2-week time period. Now, within that 2-week time period, you have the flexibility to access the materials and things that you need to complete that successfully. And all of our materials, we have the pre-recorded lectures available to you on our online learning platform, as well as reading materials, other things that we provide for you to watch, other additional resources, and also to access assignments and things. Now, one of the things that we'd like you to recognize that these are supposed to be skill-based. So we're trying to upskill the workforce and provide skills and competencies. And by completing these, we are saying that you've achieved these skills and competencies. So in order to achieve that, these are not graded as a cumulative average. These are graded as a pass-fail, and all assignments must be passed for each of the individual courses to be successful. Now, we also have the 3 courses, And in those, what that means is just that 1 or 2 courses make up that additional time. So they may be offered over a 3-week time period. But it's the same number of hours for the entire course that's required, or program from the learner that's required. So to complete an entire micro certificate, it is approximately 60 hours of learner time. So that's to complete all of the courses in there, and that's including everything. We also have live sessions each week in each one of the programs for the courses, and these are called our coffee hours, and they run for an hour and a half, and they're a scheduled time. And often our program leads bring in other practitioners and experts from the sector to provide real world context and example and applications. It also is an opportunity to discuss some of the things that you're learning about and connect with others. Now, these sessions are not currently mandatory for any of the bioeconomy programs, but we do encourage you to attend. And we also record them because we do understand that there's people joining from different time zones, different parts around the globe, and we want to help be able to still offer you the opportunity to at least participate by watching it if you can't attend when the live session is. So what programs do we have? We have some more that are under development right now, and they will be coming on our website online within the next month. But today specifically, we're going to talk about these 3 programs with circular bioeconomy, business development, environmental footprints of organizations, and strategic management for sustainability. Now, in order to not take up all of your time and to try to give you some of the key points, we haven't included all the detailed information in today's session, but we do encourage you, if you are interested, please do visit our UBC Faculty of Forestry micro certificate website and click on the program that you are interested in, and it gives a lot of detail. It will tell you about our program leads. It provides a schedule and a breakdown of the individual courses within that program, and it gives you other details in there. And then from there, if you still have some more questions, please do reach out to us. And there is an email, there's a form for submitting your questions in that, and we will respond to you. So let's talk about the circular bioeconomy program for business development. Skills and competencies that you will be expected to have once you come away from this program include being able to understand definitions and development concepts, the economics and policies, both nationally and internationally. What are some of the constraints and opportunities within this sector? Also looking at available biotechnologies, bioprocesses within the global circular bioeconomy sector. What are some of the principles of the development of this and strategies to help transform organizations towards the bioeconomy? Also looking at traditional bioeconomy businesses and what type of emerging productions are out there, what has been successful, what types of models are successful, using examples in agriculture, forestry, and bio-based products, and looking at the real challenges and then some of those solutions to that on business development in this area, and also the management of it. And then looking at the calculations and strategies used for circularity assessment, and also the sustainability of circular bioeconomy business development proposals and assessment strategies. So as we all know, with the way that things are changing, especially when you add that climate lens and sustainability strategies, These are really important issues that a lot of organizations are struggling with. And so this is an opportunity to learn key theory pieces, but then how to take them and apply them in practice for your organization. Looking at our next program, Environmental Footprints of Organizations, skills and competencies you can expect to gain through successful completion of all the courses in this program include working knowledge for creating product lifecycle modeling and evaluating environmental impacts, looking at how to get applied experience in one of the most commonly used life cycle assessment software pieces. It will better help you understand similarities and differences between product and organizational life cycle assessments, and look at how can you use data preparation, impact calculations, and reporting within organizational life cycle assessment study. Also, it's really important to understand in this space protocols and platforms for greenhouse gas reporting. This can be a very complex issue out there. So this will help break it down so that you have a better understanding, and also looking at current practices and challenges associated with this, because there are many out there and it can be a challenging space to navigate. And then looking at gaining some more applied experience with how do you actually prepare greenhouse gas reporting documents. Organizations across multiple sectors are responsible now for doing this. And if you're an organization that's publicly traded on the stock market, often these are required, are starting to be required or included in TCFD documents, ESG reporting. So those environmental, social, and governance pieces for the TCFD, Task Force on Climate-Related Financial Accounting. So these are some key elements that you can expect to gain skills and competencies through this type of program. Then moving into our strategic management for sustainability. This is a challenging area, and with things on a global scale, looking at the UN Sustainable Development Goals, we really need to understand within our different organizations what actually are our priorities around sustainability. How can we set objectives within that and then align that with our organizational mandate and goals? You know, we have a lot of competing values within our organizations, and a lot of those deal with social license. They also deal with being economically and financially feasible. So, and we have stock markets that we have to be responsible to for entering these into sustainability strategies that have to be there for conscious investors. You would learn how to make a business case for sustainability and how to present this to superiors and other stakeholders, and then how to actually map and engage with different stakeholders. This is a really key thing. It's part of a communications piece, and a lot of times this is something that you don't get a lot of learning experience in. So it's an opportunity to build that, and identifying relevant third-party sustainability certifications. So for example, in forestry, you know, there are lots of certifications in there. The Sustainable Forestry Initiative of one of those. And a lot of these types of things around sustainability link to multiple types of reporting that you have to do within organizations these days, especially in the natural resource sector. You will learn how to construct theory of change for a defined sustainability goal. Help to look at identifying barriers, because if we don't understand where the barriers are, how can we be developing successful strategies to actually overcome them? So it's really important to have these conversations, to learn about these things, and then to also consider how do you develop a social media strategy that relates and is relevant to sustainability, and to be able to tell that story. So these are some key skills and competencies that you would come away with from that program. So taking a step back, I've talked just very briefly about our 3 programs. We do have some of our program leads joining us today. So when it comes to the Q&A, there's the opportunity for them to answer your questions directly, because I am not an expert in their programs. They are the experts. And so just to, before we hit the Q&A, to talk to you about the general program information again, our current applications will close October 1st. Now, if you go on the website, you will notice that registration is not currently open, but we do have our waiting list, and you're able to join the waiting list for our programs. We are currently waiting for word from our provincial government here in British Columbia regarding future skills grants for residents of British Columbia that can apply for those. And our registration part of that, if you're applying for those grants, is linked with those. So we can't actually open the registration until we get the final word regarding that. But do not worry, if you go on and you join the waiting list, then you'll be notified when registration opens, and you'll be in a good place for being able to take one of our programs in this coming session. Tuition for the entire program, no matter which one you take, is $2,400. Now, that is the set fee. There are no taxes added on to that. There are no additional fees. There's no variation between different countries. So it's $2,400 Canadian that you pay. As I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, this is completely online. It's very flexible programming. And then if you have questions, please do contact us at forestry.microcert@ubc.ca, and we'd be happy to answer your question. If our direct team within the microcertificate office cannot answer it, we forward that on to the program leads individually for those more detailed questions. So you will get responses, and hopefully we can help answer any questions that you may have. And you can also see our website below under the Learn More there. As I mentioned, please do go on and look at things in more detail. It'll provide a lot of information there. So I think without further ado, we're actually going to open things up for questions. So I will take a look in the chat here. And so we have some of our team has been posting for information. So again, you can take a look at our website for further information. You're welcome to contact us after this session is over for any other questions or information as well. So I would like to open it up if anybody has anything they would like to ask us. Scott, I'll be talking with you about that separately after, if you don't mind. Okay, so I am actually going to call upon one of our program leads, Hamish Vanderven, to answer a question that was provided to us beforehand. And I'll turn it over to you, Hamish. So Hamish, if you don't mind just reading the question and then answering it, if that's okay.
Sure, yeah. Let me pull the question back up again. The question was, with regards to the circular bioeconomy, is this an economy that is not about taking it, all and leaving nothing behind, or is it one that creates jobs? Is there a business case developed for a circular economy? So I think what this question is getting at is just the tension that exists between different kind of aspects of sustainability, right? Where sustainability is at once about furthering social and environmental goals as well as economic goals at the same time. I can speak for within the strategic management for sustainability micro certificate. We do a module on learning how to identify which kind of sustainability priorities exist for your organization. And so how to respond to that would be, the circular bioeconomy is a subjective term. I think it's going to depend on how different organizations prioritize different dimensions of sustainability. But within the micro certificate, we're certainly going to give you the tools to determine which dimensions of sustainability are priority for your organization, be that natural resource preservation or be that job creation and economic growth. And then to also have the tools in hand to kind of map out how you can reconcile different sustainability priorities into a cohesive management strategy at the same time. So I hope that answers the question, but I'm happy to expand if whoever asked the question is in the session.
Thanks so much, Hamish. And I wanted to provide you and Shinchi with since you're two of our program leads here today, if you want to add anything, about the programs that you lead, if you could just mention which one it is, and if you want to just add anything to that, to what I said earlier.
I'm happy to start, and then I'll throw over to Qingqi. Thanks everyone for attending. Glad to hear that you're interested in the micro certificates. I would just add in terms of kind of the types of students that were enrolled in the last version of strategic management for sustainability represented a real diversity of different types of students. We had everyone from undergraduates who are just finishing their undergraduate degree and moving into the sustainability space for the first time, to mid-career professionals working at environmental management consulting firms and in the natural resource sector, to actually representatives from non-governmental organizations as well too. So if anyone's on the call and wondering whether the program is right for them, I would say it's a very big tent, and hopefully there's going to be a different value that we can add for students regardless of where their starting point is.
All right.
Excellent.
Thank you, Hamish.
Thank you. Yes, Shinchi, please.
And thank you, Sheri, for the very nice summary of my course, actually. So my name is Qingshi Tu. I'm an assistant professor here at UBC. And for the environmental footprint of organization micro certificate, I want to add a little bit more kind of overarching structure. So because my experience with the previous two offering is that sometimes students want to have a big picture of the connection of the three courses. I think this is a good opportunity for me to give you an overview. So the way the course kind of scaffold is that the first course is the most technical one, the Introduction to Life Cycle Assessment. So you will have experience with actually creating models to calculate, for example, the carbon footprint of a simple product. So that hopefully will be the foundation for you to actually further move along to the second course, where you start to look at not just the single product, but more like for example, a portfolio of products and also the operation of an organization. So organization is not just about products in many cases, right? So you're a company, you have, for example, your own business trip, and you have other activities that should also be part of your organization footprint. But hopefully with the technical background you kind of obtain from the first course, and the second course will be relatively easy for you to actually apply the knowledge at a organizational level. And the third course, which is the last one, is really to introduce you to different formats, different platforms for you to report greenhouse gas emissions, and also some case studies so that you can actually, in the end, do a relatively simplified reporting exercise so that you apply the skill of calculation, report writing, and reporting all in one kind of final deliverable. So hopefully that kind of give you a kind of trajectory of the learning outcomes throughout the micro certificate. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. I noticed we've got a question here from Anika. So with all these programs, I can apply the knowledge to any industry. Hamish or Shinchi, did you want to jump in on that? Hamish?
I would say absolutely. Again, the types of students that have enrolled in the micro certificate in the past have come from a variety of different industries. We had people working in textiles. We had people working in the natural resource sector, mining. And then we also had people working in the nonprofit NGO space with an environmental conservation agenda. So I can speak for strategic management for sustainability, the micro certificate I lead, but yeah, absolutely, it's highly transferable.
Yeah, I agree with Hamish. Also, especially in the first cohort, I do see people from different industries, and especially for the first course of doing LCA, you can see or a variety of very inspiring ideas about how they can actually apply LCA to the business or the sectors they're in, ranging from providing particular service to making a particular product. Yeah, so it basically can be very widely applicable, the skills you learn.
Thank you both for that. And yes, I would agree, even in our other micro certificate programs that we run, it's really interesting. We are the Faculty of Forestry, but forestry covers so many different things and there's so many different connections. And a lot of these programs, especially in the micro certificates that we offer, the theory and the application can apply to so many different aspects of different sectors. So I think that, I have had people in my micro certificate, which focuses on climate vulnerability and adaptation, that are with Department of Highways in Ontario and engineers. And I know with, there's a number of different organizations. You don't have to be forestry related to take a lot of these programs, because the skills and tools that you will come away with will serve you well, whatever sector you are working in. And I think that that also, we're so fortunate for the program leads that we have in all of these are really like they're handpicked, they're tailored to be the leads in these areas. So, fortunate to have Hamish and Chinchi with us today, because they are really leading in these areas and able to make that connection there between the theory and how do you actually use this in practice, and are very linked with what is happening in this space out there on a global scale. Does anyone else have any questions? Okay, so I see Jerome has asked, are there educational or professional prerequisites? Yeah, great question. And I'm sorry, I didn't mention it earlier. Usually I do. But for these programs, you actually just have to register. There's no application process for it. You register. But what I encourage you to do, and you don't have to give any you know, you don't have to submit any transcripts or anything like that, and there's no registration fee. It's just the fee of the program. But what I do encourage you to do is take a more in-depth look at the program. So if you're interested in the strategic management for sustainability, I would encourage you to go on the website and read it in more detail. And then if you still have questions, feel free to reach out to us and we can get you in contact with the program lead. Or, you know, you can hear Hamish, if you want to speak to it here and provide your thoughts, more than welcome to.
I think we start kind of from well, the very first module in the very first class is kind of a crash course intro to, you know, how we think about sustainability in 2024. And so there's no prior kind of educational background necessary. I think just kind of a passion and an interest and you know, a desire to kind of expand one's skill set in that field.
Yeah, thank you. Much appreciated. Any other questions, folks? Okay, so maybe you can think of some, if you're thinking of some questions in that, but we do have Scott Stanners joining us today, and I'm sort of putting Scott on the spot. So Scott, if you're okay with that, I know you're pretty adaptable, but Scott is actually joining us from West Coast Bioenergy Guild there, and with the BC Bioenergy Network. And this is another partnership that our Faculty of Forestry has just recently started. And Scott's actually, his team, they're developing a micro certificate that is also going to become part of our bioeconomy suite. And it will be offered come this October for the first time. And we're just in the process of getting things built and onto the website. So those things will be up by the end of June. And so I thought that I would offer Scott the opportunity to maybe just, you know, talk briefly about the micro certificate, if you wish, Scott.
Sure. Thanks, Sheri. And really, this is it's quite fortuitous. It was a relationship with Professor Xingxi too, that he was a special guest at our West Coast Bioenergy Guild, and through that we learned of his microcredit in life cycle assessment and effectively building systems, and an area that's kind of outside our expertise. But chatting with him really kind of forged our relationship with the faculty, and then of course Sheri talking with yourself and Yorma, and then getting this program approved by Senate. And so in effect, what our course focuses on is life cycle assessment of clean fuels, and this is in response to the federal clean fuel regulations. So aside, of course, from a carbon tax that you pay on any fossil fuel you're consuming, the government has regulations on all the fuel suppliers. So if you're a refiner or a fuel importer, you are an obligated party to decrease the carbon intensity of your fuel. And so that really means one option is blending in lower carbon intensity, lower CI fuels like seed oils, tallow, pine oil, and so forth. And so this course, the first 3 weeks of the first course over the 3 weeks is the foundational material on how to do life cycle assessment of clean fuels and looking at some of the different tools that are used, software tools to calculate that CI level. And then the second course is using the federal program called OpenLCA and calculating tools using that method. And the third course for 2 weeks is using GHGenius, which is the software program required by the provincial government to calculate your carbon intensity score for your fuel. And so this will give there's a lot of demand, I think, from the federal government for this type of course and to train people up to have this skill set. And then we've actually got some funding from NRCan to do some future microcredit to course development as well in verification and forestry of clean life cycle assessment of clean fuels as well. So this is the first. We're really excited about it. We've got some great people in the team involved. And I look forward to hearing about everybody else's courses and looking forward to working with you all. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Scott. And everyone, so I completely put Scott on the hot seat there. So excellent job with that, Scott. And we're really excited for this partnership here within the faculty. And it's just another example of ensuring that we're building really needed practical applied programming that can upskill the workforce out there and really help build capacity in this space across Canada and beyond in this area. So we're really excited about all these things. And again, thank you to our program leads for joining us today, and for all of you for coming and being interested in our programs here at UBC. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to ask. And if not, then again, please visit our website, send us any questions you may have, or find this recording. And we hope to have you join us sometime in our new micro certificates.